Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting and welcome back to the channel. After recently making a video looking into the legalities of a binary trigger here within the UK, there was a lot of interest around the force reset trigger. Now, if you want to go and check out that previous video on binary triggers, a little box will appear for you to go and watch that. But this is all going to be about looking at this force reset trigger. Now, to be honest, I hadn't really heard a lot about them. I had heard various whispers about this new sort of similar to a binary trigger force reset trigger, and my curiosity wasn't really piqued because I knew instantly that the binary triggers weren't going to be legal, and if there was something similar to it, it certainly wasn't going to be legal here within the UK. But after having a lot of questions about it on that previous binary trigger video, I did a little bit more digging and did a little bit more research. And I have to say, the force reset trigger from Rare Breed Triggers, the FRT15, is a lot closer to the line than I think a lot of people realize. And this ultimately comes down to spirit of the law, and we get onto that in a little bit. But for anybody that doesn't know what a force reset trigger is, the best way that I like to think of it is it's basically a bump stock in a trigger. So with a bump stock, you have a spring in the stock, the gun will come back after under recoil, your finger stays in the same place, and as the gun comes forward again from that spring, it will fire the gun again, and this will then continue and cycle, and you simulate full auto fire. And under the sort of American rules and laws at the time, this was perfectly legal until they got specifically banned. But sort of fun fact on the bump stocks, they weren't until recently under the Offensive Weapons Bill prohibited here in the UK. They were technically legal, but again, they would come under spirit of the law. We'll get onto that in a sec. So the Rare Breed force reset trigger, what it ends up doing is it uses the mechanism of the gun to effectively push the trigger blade into your finger, firing it off again. So again, very similar sort of concept to the bump stock. It's just within the trigger and within the mechanism of the gun, and again, it will simulate full auto fire, but is technically a semi-auto because you are still getting one round for every pull of the trigger. The gun's just giving you a little bit of a help. So straight away, a little bit of fun. A lot of people in America love to have the binary triggers and even these force reset triggers because, well, they can. Can we have them here in the UK? So from the binary trigger video, of course, the binary trigger I personally don't think would be legal here under the definition of what semi-auto is. And the Rare Breed trigger, though, is a lot closer because you're not getting that 2 rounds per pull, which makes the binary trigger illegal. You are still getting 1 round per pull of the trigger. So technically that conforms to the definition of a semi-auto here within the UK. Of course, we're not allowed semi-automatic centerfire or full bore rifles. We have to have semi-automatic rimfire, but you could still have a lot of fun with one of those and a Rare Breed trigger. And again, I think it's really in the grey area here. A huge caveat is no matter how much inspiration or confidence this video gives you that they may technically be legal, please, please, please do not try and bring one in here into the UK. Please do not fit one to your gun here in the UK unless you have Section 5 authority or you have authority to do so. And this is because of spirit of the law. This is a great catch-all for the police and the courts if you are doing something that is technically legal, but everyone knows you're doing it sort of to circumvent the law, and you're not doing it within the spirit of the law. Here we are, of course, allowed semi-automatic rimfire rifles, and putting a Rare Breed force reset trigger into the gun and simulating full auto fire, you're never going to be able to justify that to the police, and certainly not to a judge or a jury, that it is conforming and within the spirit of UK law. This might sound absolutely berserk, but this is how our legal system works. You also have to justify here why you need a firearm. You have to have good reason for a firearm certificate and every single gun. And if you say have a 1522 for practical mini rifle, well, why would you need to simulate full auto fire? It wouldn't be legal in competition. If you're going out hunting, again, why would you need it? It's not maybe the most efficient way to go out hunting. So there's no real good reason case for having a force reset trigger, and therefore it's going to throw you straight under the spirit of the law bus. And this is also what I used to say about bump stocks. Whilst they were, again, technically legal within the UK, if there were videos of you or the police found you down a range simulating full auto with a bump fire and they hauled you in front of the courts, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on that you had a legitimate good reason for having that bump stock and for effectively increasing the rate of fire. Yes, a lot of the American viewers and subscribers at this point are going to go, but it's just fun. Aren't you allowed to have fun with a gun? Well, no, not unless you have good reason here in the UK. Again, you can have fun, but it's under a number of sort of limited and certain headlines of, say, hunting for sport, so on and so forth. So really, whilst in the letter of the law, the force reset triggers may technically be legal, there is no way that a firearm certificate holder is going to retain their firearm certificate if they are ever caught with one. You're just never going to be able to justify why you have it, other than, well, it's a bit of a laugh, which isn't a good reason, and the judge is always going to come down on you under the spirit of the law. Remember that the firearm certificate here in the UK, to be able to own a gun here in the UK, is a privilege. Funny enough, obtaining a certificate isn't a privilege, but maintaining it is. And at the very least, they are going to take your certificates away from you. They are going to say that you are of not fit character, that you are obviously operating outside of the spirit of the law, and therefore cannot be trusted to have the privilege of maintaining your firearm certificate. So even if you spare yourself jail, you're not going to retain your certificate, and you are most likely going to be blacklisted for a very long time in terms of firearms ownership here within the UK. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting case, and certainly when I looked into it more, I thought, well, definitely got to make a video on this because it's just so much more interesting and sort of more grey than the binary trigger case. But yes, again, I cannot stress enough, do not go out and buy a force reset trigger to bring into the UK, either bringing it back from holiday or having it shipped over here. If you are found with one, you are most definitely going to end up in trouble, no matter how much fun they may be. Similar again with the bump stocks. But there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it and found it interesting. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing for any future videos and content. And as always, guys, hope to see you soon.